Hello and welcome. Today we're diving into a pretty wild idea that the constant push and pull inside your own head, that battle between daydreaming and actually doing stuff, doesn't just define who you are, it literally explains the entire structure of human civilization.
We all know this feeling, right? One minute, you're totally lost in thought, worrying about the future or replaying a memory. And the next, you're completely locked in, totally absorbed in what you're doing or who you're talking to. Well, it turns out that switch isn't random at all.
See, these are basically the two modes your brain is always flipping between. On one side, you've got the inner world, dreaming, worrying, imagining. On the other side, you have the outer world, acting, creating, talking. And we are constantly, rhythmically jumping back and forth between them.
Okay, so let's get into this, because this isn't just some vague feeling. It's a direct reflection of how your brain is wired to work in two primary directions. And there's a fascinating model that helps us understand exactly what's going on. First up, there's what's called inward perception. The best way to think about it is like a mental spotlight turning inward. It pulls all of your attention and energy into your memories, your feelings, your sense of who you are. It's a flow of energy that converges on your past. And then you've got the total opposite, outward perception. This is when the current of your attention flows out from you. Your brain is engaging with the here and now through your senses, what you see, what you hear, what you do, pushing your energy toward goals out in the real world. This chart lays out the difference perfectly. Inward perception is all about the past, and it's driven by our emotional centers like the amygdala. It feels like dreaming or reflecting. Outward perception? That's focused on the present and future, driven by our reasoning prefrontal cortex, and it feels like action. When you boil it down, one is about feeling, and the other is about doing.
So here's where this whole idea gets really, really powerful. This inward versus outward model gives us a completely new way to understand all of our basic human needs.
You've probably seen a hierarchy of needs like this before, right? Well, now we can look at every single one of these steps and see that each has an inward emotional side and an outward action-based side. Let's start at the very bottom. The inward feeling of hunger, it's just a primal internal signal, right? But look at our outward action. We didn't just go find some berries. We built the entire global industry of agriculture to systematically manage that one inner feeling.
And check this out. This is where it gets fascinating. That deep internal feeling of fear, that anxiety and vulnerability we all feel, it gets transformed. That inward feeling becomes the blueprint for these massive external systems of control, laws, armies, insurance companies, all built to make us feel safe on the inside.
And the exact same pattern holds true for our self-worth. That inward story we tell ourselves about who we are, our pride, our envy, that drives the outward action of acquiring status symbols. It's why we have entire industries for real estate, luxury brands, and cosmetics. Okay, so here's the crucial point. If you zoom out far enough, you can start to see all of human civilization as a kind of giant, externalized mind. It's constantly turning our collective inner feelings into tangible outer structures. This quote from the source material just nails it. Everything we've built as a society is a physical manifestation of the patterns that started inside our own heads. Let me show you a few clear examples.
Think about the food and sex industries. They aren't just businesses, they're the highly organized outward expression of our most primal, inward biological drives, our collective hunger and our need to reproduce.
The entire global defense industry, you can literally think of it as our collective amygdala, the fear center of our brain, made real. Our shared vulnerability gets externalized into concrete things like tanks, surveillance systems, and international laws.
And on a higher level, it's the same thing. Our knowledge industries, from ancient libraries all the way to the internet, are simply our collective curiosity and memory, organized and made accessible to everyone. It's our brain's desire to learn, built at a planetary scale.
Okay, so for our final section, let's bring all this back home. Because what this is really all about, for each of us and for society as a whole, is finding the right balance. You've probably felt this, right? When these two flows get out of whack in our own lives, man, we feel it. Spend too much time turned inward, and you get stuck in anxiety and worry. But spend too much time focused outward, and you get burned out, disconnected, just going through the motions. So the goal isn't to pick a side. It's to find what the model calls dynamic equilibrium. It's this healthy rhythmic flow between the two worlds. The best way to think of it is like breathing.
You inhale reflection and emotion from your inner world, and you exhale action and creativity into the outer world. And where could this lead? Well, the model suggests we can actually aim for an even higher state of consciousness called resonant synchronization. Imagine your inner world of memories and your outer world of sensations vibrating on the exact same frequency, a perfect harmony, creating this incredible sense of flow. So that leaves us with one final, and I think really important question. This incredible dance between looking in and acting out is happening inside you right now. It's not just your story, it's the story that's building the world we all share. So the only question left is, how will you choose to harmonize your two worlds?